The Vietnamese version of Evergrande car has become a reality. Well, I have to say that Hui Ka Yan, the former richest man in China, was born at an untimely time. In Vietnam, a cutting-edge car brand called Vinfast calls itself Vietnamese Tesla. Not only has it dominated Vietnam's electric vehicle market, surpassing China's emerging electric vehicle brands, but it has also opened stores in the United States. Now, it is preparing to go to the United States to set up a factory, with a valuation of up to $60 billion, and it will soon ring the bell on Nasdaq. Facing this electric car factory from Vietnam, Biden said, "Welcome. What many people don't know is that this is a Vietnamese version of China's Evergrande Motors. It almost copied the business model of China's Evergrande Automobile, but Evergrande Automobile failed, and it has achieved the biggest success in Vietnam's automobile history, and has become the most famous electric vehicle brand in Vietnam." Why did Vietnam's Vinfast, which copied China, make a big victory, while China's Evergrande road is on the verge of bankruptcy? Why did these two richest men from China and Vietnam achieve completely different results when they did the same thing? Okay, that and more is exactly what we are going to talk about today. Let's get started. The founder of Vinfast is Pham Nhat Vuong, who is also a real estate developer and the richest man in Vietnam. The tallest building in Ho Chi Minh City, Tower 80, is owned by Vinfast. Pham Nhat Vuong, however, made his fortune in Ukraine. In his early years, he sold instant noodles in Ukraine, occupied 97% of the instant noodle market in Ukraine. Later, when Pham Nhat Vuong returned home, he officially entered the Vietnamese real estate market. The development trajectories of Pham Nhat Vuong and Hui Ka Yan are exactly the same. They first started in real estate, became the richest man, and then switched tracks to build cars. Vinfast is the largest real estate group in Vietnam, and it does not have car-making technology in its hands. How to do it? Pham Nhat Vuong's idea is exactly the same as Hui Ka Yan's, just by what don't have. Different from Hui Ka Yan, Evergrande Automobile's production lines are all self-built, with a long cycle and large investment. Pham Nhat Vuong made two preparations. On the one hand, he built his own factory. On the other hand, he directly bought General Motors' assembly plant in Hanoi, and then bought Opel's chassis technology. Unlike Evergrande Motors, which only makes electric vehicles, Pham Nhat Vuong first makes fuel vehicles, which are low in cost, fast in cycle time and short in mass production time. In the race against time, Pham Nhat Vuong ran faster than Hui Ka Yan. With the chassis technology and the assembly line, Pham Nhat Vuong's road to car manufacturing was soon on the right track. The model design is outsourced to Pennsylvania in Italy. The production line is sourced from Siemens and Kuka of Germany. The core components are sourced from Bosch. The engineering manufacturing is sourced from Canada's Magna. The engine is directly purchased from BMW's obsolete technology, and a large number of automotive engineers are hired from Toyota. In this way, Vinfast created the first Fadil fuel car. In fact, this Fadil fuel car is actually the Vietnamese version of the Opel Karl Rox. In terms of publicity, Vinfast does not hide at all and is very honest. Its main focus is German brand, General Motors technology, made in Vietnam. A combination of these trump cards has instantly filled the Vietnamese people's sense of identity with Vinfast cars. This car was put into production in 2019, and it sold 18,000 units in 2020, and 24,000 units in 2021. Becoming the #1 best-selling car in Vietnam, and it killed Toyota. After this cheap car became famous, Vinfast bought the technology of BMW 5 and BMW X5 and produced the Vietnamese-made versions Lux A 2.0 and Lux SA 2.0. These two cars are actually Vietnamese replicas of the BMW 5 and BMW X5, priced at $223,000 and $300,000 respectively. For the Vietnamese, the price of buying a domestic version is suddenly more than 200,000 yuan cheaper, which is equivalent to buying a domestic version of BMW at half the price. Can the Vietnamese not be tempted? But Pham Nhat Vong's ambitions don't stop there. After the fuel vehicles became a hit, in 2022, Vinfast announced that it would completely cut off fuel vehicles and transform into electric vehicles. For Vinfast, making fuel vehicles is just a transition, and making electric vehicles is the ultimate goal. In 2022, Vinfast released 6 electric vehicles in one go, namely VFE34, VF5, VF6, VF7, VF8, and VF9. Is this also very similar to Evergrande Motors? Evergrande Motors had greater ambitions at the beginning, and released 9 models one after another, from Hengqi 1 to Hengqi 9. These 6 cars cover the price range from 100,000 to 500,000. If Evergrande Motors sells like this in China, it will basically not be able to sell. But in Vietnam, Vinfast not only sells well, but also has entered the global market. It received 58,000 orders, 20% of which were non-refundable deposits. So where does its EV tech come from this time around? Vinfast has a unique geographical advantage. It is adjacent to China, and China has the most complete electric vehicle industry chain in the world. Looking at the components of the Vinfast electric car, the battery comes from CATL, the millimeter wave radar comes from Yixingdao, the chip comes from Infineon, Germany, and the design comes from the BMW Design Studio in Germany. Chinese suppliers and other overseas suppliers are divided equally. In other words, the Vietnamese only provided funds and labor, and they did assembly work. Because of the rich supply chain, there is no resistance for Vinfast to go overseas. Vinfast not only successfully went to the United States to build a factory, but also built a factory in Germany. In terms of overseas performance, Vinfast is more aggressive than China's EV brands. In terms of international competitiveness, Vinfast is not strong enough. It is actually a Vietnamese version of Evergrande. There are 4 main reasons for its success. First, European and American countries are willing to support a Vietnamese electric vehicle factory. The core is that the United States is actively promoting the spillover of China's manufacturing industry and returning to the United States. Without this background, it is impossible for a Vietnamese electric vehicle factory that started purely by assembling to be favored by the US capital market. Second, it is the only national car brand in Vietnam. The Vietnamese government has no choice but to support the local auto manufacturing industry. But Evergrande is different. Without it, there are still a lot of Chinese local auto brands such as BYD, Geely, Changan, and Chery. Vinfast is unique to Vietnam, but Evergrande is dispensable to China. The third is that Vinfast's real estate business has a solid foundation. Unlike Evergrande, the main real estate business has fallen into a quagmire before the car is built. Fourth, Vinfast's business strategy is more stable. He first made fuel vehicles, and after using fuel stations to stabilize his foothold, he then cut into electric vehicles, directly using China's complete industrial chain. Evergrande started too early and the cost was too high. However, in my opinion, with the increasingly fierce competition in the electric vehicle market and the price stand recently, Vinfast, which lacks core technology, may only maintain excellent results for a short time. In fact, Tesla, Geely, and BYD are all actively exploring the Southeast Asian market, and there is actually not much time left for Vinfast. Okay, that's all for today. Do you want to learn about more auto stories? Please keep following our channel and like our videos. Your precious time with us is highly appreciated. See you.